individual, you actually know that. But the individual from looking out know that you're miserable inside. You know what I mean? But when you step out, you know what I'm saying, lights, camera, action, and you're on that stage, you know what I'm saying, for that moment, it's almost like a high. You know what I mean? Or you're intoxicated or whatever the case may be. You know, further speaking, I don't get high. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't indulge. You know, neither does my brother. We believe in, you know what I'm saying, that natural, you know what I'm saying, that natural high or however you want to describe it. You know what I mean? So we high off life, as I used to say. You know, I'm still going to enjoy myself as the next man would if he's off the Henny, he's off the Tito's. He off the weed or whatever the case may be. I don't promote none of it. I mean, to each his own. You're gonna do what you do, but at the same time, on doing that, be you. You know what I mean? Be you. And we all know once people start drinking, they don't be themselves. A whole nother person come out. Because some people can't even interact if they are not on some type of substance.
Yeah, some of these females can't give up their pussy to some people unless they go back to the back room and hit the weed.
Yeah, they're not even themselves.
Yeah, they can't even.
So it's just all when talking and then being, you know what I'm saying, who you are, you know what I'm saying, is being you. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm gonna respect you for you. You know what I'm saying? Each and every individual is gonna respect you for you. You know, an individual that doesn't respect you for you, you need to rid yourself of that individual, whether it be a friend, a family member, or whoever it may be at the end of the day.
Man, I think what you said is really powerful because I think it's all about validation. Mm-hmm. It's looking for other people to validate you.
Yeah.
And you're being your own personal stamper.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by being your own personal stamper is that you're stamping yourself.
Yes.
You know, you're stamping yourself. You're naming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're leading, you know, any kind of like, you're not being named. You're naming yourself. If you look like anybody who paved the way or is a pioneer anywhere, everywhere, they just said, I'm him. This is me. This is my name.
This is who I am.
And then people, they didn't put nobody else on. They put their self on. Yeah. And what I'm hearing from you is tapping into your best self, is putting yourself on.
Yes.
You know, leading yourself. And also putting yourself in a situation to where you build yourself as strong as possible that you can as a man, as a human being, you know, to where you can be indestructible. Where you can be indestructible. You know, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. You know, so when things in life, when you hit obstacles and bumps in the roads in your life, you're able to just be disappointed about it. You know, it's like looking outside and it's raining, and you know, certain shit you don't got control of. So you might look outside and you say, "Oh man, it's raining outside."
Yeah.
Right. So you just be disappointed. It's a bad day, but guess what? Shit don't stop.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, even where we come from, it rain a lot. I mean, I welcome the rain.
Yeah.
I welcome any type of weather setting. You know, I don't really feel like some people say they have this saying as far as oh, it's Monday. You know, they look at Monday as a bad day. I'm going to be honest, I call every Monday a good Monday. Because for one, you made it through that weekend. And secondly, if you're working, you're still employed. You know what I mean? So it's a good Monday. So, I mean, I don't really look at any day as a bad day. I mean, I say make your day what it is, never what it's not. You know what I'm saying? So you create your day and your day flow. You know, it's just all in how you accept the day. You know, and you can make the changes in the day in order to make it what it is. And that's just one of my models as far as when I talk about that. And even when it comes to like a person feeling like they hit rock bottom, you know, I had to say, and I was thinking one day, I said, rock bottom. What is considered like rock bottom? What is rock bottom? I feel like as long as you breathing, you know what I'm saying? There ain't no rock bottom. You know, we allowing everybody to basically describe what everything is for us as a person. You know what I mean? Whether they, you know, like even when it comes to our physical stature, you know what I'm saying? An individual say, "Oh, you're fat." Society told you what fat is, or you're dark skinned, or you're too black, or whatever the case may be. So my narrative for that is, man, we got to start creating our own beautiful and our own what's handsome. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because we got too many people telling us what something is. And I don't feel like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
they
saying?
got a whole bunch of because I'm
Yeah.
not digging the skinny jeans. I'm not digging a lot of different styles and people. Yeah, being your own trendsetter.
Yeah, you have to
Set your own trends.
Yeah, because everything don't fit you as a person. You know what I mean? Some bills are the bills that they have. You know what I mean? So we can all say, get in the gym. The gym is not for everybody. I'm gonna be honestly speaking. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to get out. Some people like to eat. You know what I mean? So I like to eat, but in the same token, I like to get down too. You know what I mean? So it's just me. So I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do what I do. But at the end of the day, my main focus is being the best me that I could possibly be. You know, whether it be brother, son, father, I'm always into being the best me. So when I lay down at night and I evaluate my day, you know what I'm saying? I can say to myself, I've done everything in my power, you know what I'm saying, within that day, you know what I'm saying, for me to lay here and contemplate it. And then the next day that's coming up, I'm going to try to make that day even more, you know what I'm saying, even more stronger, even more better. You know what I'm saying? At the end of that day. So
I think being your stronger self is also being able to tap in to core values.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got to have those.
You know, just even if you read core, it's like you just think about, you know, I'm not, you know, I got my GED, I ain't been to school, but when you think about like core, you just think like in the middle of the earth or something. That means it's just the center of your whole being, the center of who you are. Yeah. What is the values? What value? Yeah. What do you value when you look at yourself in the mirror? You know, and letting what society determines. You might get a whole bunch of people that might have the same ethnic background or the same experience or same shared experience of me or you, and they may say, "It's about that money." You know, they value all these other things, but they don't have no other core value.
Absolutely not.
You know,
and they're lost. And you know what happens when you lost? You know what I mean? It's like one of the things I always say. You know, we can say, "Where are you going?"
Yeah, because I'm priceless. So I can't be bought. If people's core value is about money, you sell yourself for a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will sell yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't print the money, you don't control the money. There's certain things like integrity, my personal integrity, there's certain things that I'm not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just playing with this little podcast stuff. I'll never put on a dress. There's a lot of things that I won't do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely not.
You know, I may be quiet in certain situations for survival, but there's certain things that I just won't do and I won't approve.
Oh yeah, you gotta be strategic, you know, and make it almost like a game of chess. You gotta have a thought process before you make your move. You know, because the move could be detrimental, and at the end of the day, it could cost you. Because we all know how life is, especially when you come to a person, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, this exterior look. But, you know, at the end of the day, we all have to have some destination or somewhere as far as where we're going. Because if we just get on the road and we're driving, we're just going to be driving at the end of the day. And you don't want to be that individual.
I feel
that's a lost soul. That's a lost cause.
That's lost. Lost in the frost and barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Also think that with me is being successful. Success can look different for different people. Mm-hmm. But for me, success is fulfilling, setting goals, accomplishing goals, working on goals, and it gives you a feeling of accomplishment, of success. You know, and that's just improving yourself. You know, life is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. So I feel that
nothing's gonna come too fast.
You can't.
And if it does,
you can't look at other people to actualize you. I mean, I've seen this like pyramid, and it's talking about the level of actualization of like basic needs, and then you're actually actualizing. Now you have to be able to look in the mirror and look at yourself like you're top tier. You got to always think about yourself as top tier. Yeah. And to look at yourself as top tier, there's one thing that you must not have is fear. And the only thing that overcomes fear for a lot of people who has my background, who haven't went to school or just have less shared experience, is making sure that you're becoming familiar. The more you're familiar with something, it'll help you come over. It'll help you overcome fear.
Yeah.
You know, that way you'll be able to feel comfortable in any situation, any scenario, because you're familiar with it. You know,
and it's not selfish. So if anybody talking about, oh, you're selfish, you're selfish. In some instances, you have to be selfish in order to reach your full potential of who you are as a person. Because in order for you to reach who you are as a person, you're going to have to be what quote unquote, what people call selfish. You know what I mean? You got to think about yourself. You have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, who gonna love yourself better than you love yourself? I know some people say, I love you more than you love yourself. That's a lie. You know what I mean? That's a lie. I don't think nobody can love you more than you love yourself. You know, and if a person thinking that they don't love themselves, they don't care anything about themselves, there's certain things that they can do, you know, in order to answer that question. You know what I'm saying? Do they truly love themselves? It's just that a lot of people don't have the drive or the direction, you know what I'm saying, to take in order to figure out, you know what I'm saying, where they want to go or who they want to be or where they want to be in life.
And people can't really love you unless they respect you.
Yeah.
People can't really love you unless they respect you. If they don't respect you, that's not genuine love.
Nah,
you know,
that disrespect, it won't go nowhere in life. You know, I mean, that goes from friends, family, whoever it may be. You know, and a lot of times we accept a lot of things that come from family, you know, due to them being family. So you'll overlook a lot of things. But at the end of the day, you have to speak up on them things, because what I learned in life is once you do that, it comes to a boiling point, and then when it comes to that boiling point, it explodes. The pipe ends up busting because you didn't address it in the beginning. And a lot of times we let a lot of things lay dormant. You know what I mean? And me not being a person that indulges in alcohol or anything like that, I don't have the problem of once I drink, then I want to tell you how I truly feel or whatever the case may be. I'm going to let you know right off the bat, you know what I'm saying, on what's going on or what the stance may be. And for my family, y'all know me. Y'all know that if we're not meeting eye to eye on some things, I have to distance myself from you. You know what I'm saying? Love you, but that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about me, I don't allow nobody, you know what I'm saying, to throw the anchor inside my boat and sink my boat. You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to drown my boat or I'm going to sink my boat, I'm going to be the one to drop the anchor inside my boat. At the end of the day. Yeah, 110%. Because it's like this. We all in life have some sort of responsibility. And if we don't have a responsibility, the responsibility is ourselves. You know what I mean? So you have to take responsibility for yourself. And then when you take the responsibility of yourself, that at that point, you can also take the responsibility of others, whether it be a female friend, whether if you have a child, whether if you're looking over a parent or whatever the case may be. But you have to take responsibility for self, you know what I'm saying, in order to give another look of a responsibility of somebody else. You know what I mean? It just that's the way it has to be. Because you have to, you know what I'm saying, take yourself, as far as if you're looking at yourself, you have to therefore give whatever you're giving for yourself, you have to release it onto another person. You know what I'm saying? Or another human being, whether it be a child, whether it be an adult, or whatever the case may be.
Just the topic of honest self. Mm-hmm. It's by design that just the exterior doesn't really want you to tap into your honest self.
Nah.
So that's 100%. There's opposition on it. You would think that it would just be like, okay, I want to work on my honest self. You know, I'm trying to improve myself. I'm trying to look in the mirror and trying to work on myself, try to be a better person, trying to improve my mind, my body, accomplish goals. But on the exterior level, people, just the way the world is, they don't want people to tap into their honest self. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, they wouldn't be selling Nikes. They would be selling you Pro Wings. You might pick up some Pro Wings and you might not have the Nikes.
Man.
So people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. For y'all that's too young to know what the Pro Wings are, for the older generation, we all know what the Pro Wings were. You know what I'm saying? We all had them, especially, you know, those that come from more of a lower income.
Payless.
Yeah, so forth and so on. Matter of fact, I have a story about the Pro Wings.
You want to share the story?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I had a situation, you know, my mom, she had it to where we had a decent pair of shoes and we had a cheaper pair of shoes. So I grew up in a neighborhood where just about everybody had a pair of Pro Wings, so it wasn't no big deal. At the time I lived in a project, which was Holly Park. That's where I grew up at, Holly Park, and which some of us called it Hollywood at that time because that was our Hollywood. You know, Holly Park mean everything to me. With the jump back on the topic, she bought us a pair of decent shoes and she bought us some play shoes. My play shoes were the shoes that I ran around in, tore up, whatever the case may be. My other pair of shoes were more or less my decent shoes that I wore to school. I ended up moving out of Holly Park, which is at the time, you know what I'm saying, was a project. You know, it was a project. Looked the same. Certain, you know, people lived in there from, we had white, black, Asian. At the time, that was predominant. Samoan, I can't forget about that. Predominantly, that was, you know, what races that lived in there at that particular time. Anyways, I moved out of Holly Park and I ended up moving over to a place what we call Columbia City. You know, Columbia City, Rainier Valley, it was better yet described as. And I ended up going to this school and I had these Pro Wings and I remember getting on this bus. And I got on this bus and this cat, you know, he looked down at my shoes, right? So he asked me, he said, what type of shoes is those? So, you know, I tilted them to the side. Because I'm like, oh, I looked at him, you know, I said, these is Pro Wings. So he had this look in his eye, like, Pro Wings. So I picked up on the way he was looking at my shoes, like, you know, them was not the business. So I said to him, I said, well, these ain't cool. And he said, nah. So I took that as, you know, I'm young at this time. I think I was, seventh grade? I think I was seventh grade at the time. And, I was like, no, I think I was sixth grade. Might have been sixth grade. I said to him, I said, these ain't cool. I said, so what would you do? You know, cause I said, this is all I can afford. You know, these are my good shoes, my play shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They what they is. So, he said, man, what I would do is I'd take a marker and color in the Pro Wing side, because they only had Pro Wing on the tongue, and they had Pro Wing inside the little bubble that was on the side of the shoe. So I said, so you take a marker and color it in. So me being me, not giving it really no thought, I takes the marker and colors, you know, the Pro Wing side in, the black marker. Mm-hmm. But the moral to the story is, this is one I knew that I thought different. And I really tapped in and started looking at self. So that was one of those moments, huh? That was one of the moments. Yeah, I said to myself, into yourself, why did I color the shoe in? Yeah. It wasn't because I didn't like the shoe. It wasn't because I felt I needed to color in it. It was because what they seen on the outside and what my shoe represented, you know what I'm saying, to those that's looking from the out. So what I did then is I told myself, I really was disappointed in myself that I did something because the next person, that's how I felt. You know, I was kind of explaining earlier, said something about the shoe. So I vowed to myself at a young age, at this time, I said I'd never do that again. Is making a decision based solely on what an individual thought of me and something that I liked at the time and that I grew up to like, and that for me it wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? And like even to this very day, I get what I like. You know, like people say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Everybody's always telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. But ain't nobody putting no funds up for it. You know what I mean? they quick to tell you, you know what I'm saying, what you should do or what you should wear. They do. It might be in a closet or in a garage. Don't mean I'm gonna ride on it. Yeah. I'm gonna wear it. If you want to gift me something, gift it. Yeah. You know? Even with your vehicles and your transportation. An individual try to dress your joint up for you and tell you what is and what ain't. Me, I'm gonna tell you honest truth. I go get what I want and I go get what I like. I do not do none of that. What's you know what I'm saying? What's the latest or whatever the case may be. And a lot of these guys, at the end of the day, one thing about me, I buy what's in my tax bracket. You know what I mean? And cause I want to have that peace of mind for self. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to keep up with, you know what I'm saying, the Joneses or make myself to look a certain way. I'm going to look how I feel I should look. You know what I mean? I'm going to dress the way that I feel I should dress. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they don't do that. You know, so for me, that was like one of the situations that I looked at. And I even had a lot of different situations on different levels as far as when it came to certain situations in life. one of the things that I could say is uh, going through, living in I would say, at the time was gang infested and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of different decisions and choices that you had to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I came from an era and a time when, at least up where I'm from, Seattle, Washington, to where you can walk down the street and you can come back, barefooted. You know what I mean?
Or without a jacket.
Or without a jacket. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if your hat was right, your hat was gone. You know what I mean? So with these certain situations, you know what I'm saying? As being an older brother, of two younger siblings, which is two younger brothers, I'm the man of the house because, you know what I'm saying? I got my mom, she's a single mother, you know what I'm saying? Raising 3 sons. So with me, I had to take a stance. So it was very important for me.
So basically, like taking a stance is a good definer of tapping into yourself.
Yeah, because you got
it's
to
just like take a stance. So if you was actually have like a platform or a workbook to say how do you get in the cell, you might be like your stance. Take a stance.
You got to take a stance, take a stand, and you got to really figure out who you are as a person. Because when you have to look after two younger brothers, and you're in a gang infested area to where that's all you can afford to where you're gonna live, you're the one that the younger brothers is gonna come to at the end of the day. So with that, you have to basically tap, because if you're a scary person, it's not gonna end well for you. You know what I'm saying? And Holly Park, I will be honest, Holly Park was a place to where when I first moved into Holly Park, I got in 2 fights soon as I hit the playground. You know what I mean? Soon as I hit the play area, you know what I'm saying? When we played that, I got in 2 fights back to back. You know what I mean? So fighting was how, you know what I'm saying, basically, I came up. So, being scared or scary, it's not a part of, what I'm saying, my build. It's not a part of my build. So that was a good tool to have as far as in life.
Not having fear.
Not having that fear. You know what I'm saying? So fear of in general, and then I didn't grow up in the slavery times, so I don't know what it was to be scared. You know what I'm saying? Of the white man. I don't know what it is to be scared of the white man. A lot of people say, "Oh, if I was in this time, this is what I would have did." No, you wouldn't, because your family would have suffered. You know what I mean? And you would have suffered. You know what I mean? And so a lot of individuals, they say a lot of things as far as if I, or what if. Nah, that's not realistic. You know what I mean? But furthermore, as far as another tool to have is being fearless. Now I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, if a person come up on you and he pull a gun, you know what I'm saying, you stand up and stick your chest out and be tough. Nah, because being in the grave and being tough, it's cost your life. So there's nothing, you know what I'm saying, from that point on. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying as far as, you know what I'm saying, you have to take a stance as a person. And as a man, one of the things that a lot of people look into, and that I know as far as a man, and for what I observed and for what I seen, is being a protector. You know what I'm saying? So I was a protector of my mom. I was a protector of my brothers, and so forth and so on. Female cousins, in certain situations, so forth and so on. Better yet, you're a person that they become. They come to answer to. In certain situations, certain scenarios. So that's another good trait to have is being a protector. You know what I mean? And then as looking at my mom, being a provider. You know what I mean? Like my mom, she wasn't rich or anything like that, but at the end of the day, she provided the things that was necessary: food, clothing, and shelter. And a lot of us, we're getting away from that. You know what I mean? So you're making life hard on yourself, thinking that you got to accumulate all these things.
These brand new iPhones, Christmas coming up, and all these things, these designer.
Yeah.
It's no longer just the basics.
It's no longer the basics, the things that give you the necessary essentials to survive in this world. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us, what we have got away from is because we thinking everything is supposed to be handed to us is a survival instinct. A lot of us, we don't even know how to survive. You know what I'm saying? If we was dropped in a situation, you know what I'm saying, we would fall apart. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us may even commit suicide.
And some people don't have a heart to even try to take something.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. So I just say, as far as another good trait is, as far as like tapping into yourself and really just figuring yourself out as a person. And like sometimes you got to ask yourself, when you look at somebody and I ain't talking about nobody on TV or whatever the case may be. A lot of times it's going to be an uncle. It could be a cousin. It could be a person that you just looked up in your neighborhood, but you dealt with him on a regular basis. And what he did is he give you the necessary tools in order, you know what I'm saying? When I talk about tools, I'm talking about when you come to your morals, you know what I'm saying, your values, you know what I'm saying, things like that. So therefore you have some substance rather than you just having this, you know what I'm saying, genuine build in identity about yourself. You know, because a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, we're pumping false. You know, we are pumping false. It's not us. You know what I mean? From the exterior, like I can remember a time. I can remember when a time when a person was, you know, when the gangs at first came, and a person, I knew the individuals before gangs even came into play, and for what gangs represented, you know, from my knowledge, from what I seen, and so forth and so on, it wasn't for me. For first and foremost, the gang thing wasn't for me. No. To each his own. Yeah. But what I want to talk about is the clothing. So a person, I knew these individuals, and they put on this clothing, and man,
they called 1 million up.
Yeah. Oh man, it was a whole nother individual. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I always say, man, you put on this uniform, you know what I'm saying? And now you have this identity. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, you know, like they say, sagging your clothes and turning your feet out a certain way, and you know what I'm saying, growing your hair long and putting certain things in your hair and so forth and so on, and putting on a pair of glasses, you know what I'm saying, all these things, and they say it's the gangster look. I never heard of anything called the gangster look. You know what I mean? So it's just hilarious to me. You know what I mean? So it's like a person say acting tough. Now I call that presenting scare tactics. You know what I mean? You trying to start.